Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Michael Meier Show. Hang on for 1 minute while we get everything set up over here. This is going to be like mind-blowing show. I promise you. We have a guest that you guys all know, and if you don't know, you should know. And by the end of this show, you will be in love with. His name is Tom Ferry, #1 coach in the country, educator, inspirator. Call him what you want. He's someone you need to know, someone you need to follow, and someone that is going to honor us and drop some wisdom on this show. So just hang on for a minute. You're going to see below over here that it says ask questions below. So let me explain. This is a live show. If you're watching this now, first of all, thank you. And ask questions in the comments below. Jennifer, who works with me at Meier, will make sure that we address all of your questions. And here's the kicker. If you're watching this in the replay, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be watching this in the replay, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this show. This is going to be very valuable for you. But if you ask your questions below, we are still going to take the time to respond to it. I'm sure Tom is going to also take his time to review the comments, and we'll make sure that we get all the answers that you guys are looking to get. So it's really an honor to be able to have this show, and we're going to get this show going. So welcome to the Michael Meier Show. This is going to be a fabulous show. We got Tom Ferry in the house. Let's do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Michael Meier Show. So today we have an awesome guest on our show. Our guest is Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry is a real estate coach who helps agents build phenomenal businesses, coaches some of the top coaches in the industry across the country, internationally as well. Somebody that I've admired for a very, very long time. Someone that I highly recommend that you tune into. He does tons of education, videos. The crazy thing is you can get a lot of stuff for free from Tom Ferry, which is kind of nuts and awesome. And of course, at the same time, he does coaching. And, we're going to delve into specific things that he's going to help you guys to build your business. The topic of the show today is, things that you as real estate agents should be focusing on and doing right now. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Tom Ferry. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Doing outstanding, Michael. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for honoring our guests and being on the show to share your wisdom with us. I want to also let everybody know that I have Jennifer here at Meier. Hey, Jennifer, how you doing?
Hey, Michael, how's it going?
That's going really, really well. Thank you so much for hosting the show with me.
Of course. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So, Tom, obviously I've been following you for a long time and you share some awesome wisdom with people. And, I wanted to discuss with you, and I know you offered to chat with us a little bit about what agents should be focusing on now building their business. Before I do that, can you tell people a little bit about, who you are, and just, I'm sure you'll do a better job than I do because you're Tom Ferry.
Sure. Well, first of all, again, thank you. And for everybody watching, big shout out to all of you guys. I'm a big fan of personal and professional education, getting better. So obviously you are as well. So Michael said, I'm going to drop some wisdom. I will do my best. The fast version is, some people were raised on milk and cookies. I got some friends in Southern California that were raised on weed and surfing. I was raised on Earl Nightingale, Brian Tracy, Mike Ferry. I was basically funny. I was kind of raised to do this. But if you know anything about my backstory, I was kicked out of 5 high schools. I had a mohawk. I was kicked out of both parents' homes. I was always a fearless leader, just oftentimes going down the wrong path. So at 18, 19, I jumped into the family business and basically helped take a little mom and pop speaking business from, call it, $3-4 million a year to eventually $8 million a year, and then took over as president and drove it from 8 to about $50 million. And then I left there feeling very satisfied that I helped my family and I helped our team and I helped, a lot of our clients around the world. But at the end of the day, I just felt that I had more to share. And the path that my old business was on was awesome. It just wasn't my path. So I did what every crazy entrepreneur does. I staked a claim and I built my own business. And you do that through people. You do it through trial and error, making all the mistakes, And what's fascinating, Michael, today is when I talk to our best clients, whether it's Tim Smith, who I just talked to a couple of days ago, Carol Gerritsen, Josh Rubin in New York City, all people that are in the top 1,000. My business and their business are exactly the same. We have to attract clients. We have to do it in a consistent way. We have to bring more value to the marketplace than our competition. And by doing all of those things and building an extraordinary team, we get a great business. So, that's a lot of what I've done. I mean, we'll have 200,000 people go through our seminars around the world. I was on the phone this morning for an hour with one of my clients who has 25,000 agents in Europe, helping him work on, 36 different countries and, call it 12 different languages and all the barriers of that. But it's at the end of the day, we got to prospect. You got to build rapport. You got to, book appointments. You got to qualify for needs. You got to make your pitch. You got to handle objections and close. Doesn't really matter what country you're in. So that's where I spend the vast majority of my time today, just trying to bring more value than I ask for in return.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know this is going to be a difficult question maybe to answer, but you obviously coach some phenomenal people. Are there certain things that you see in the people, the agents that you coach that perform at a high level? Like when you're talking to an agent and you're evaluating them, you probably even have a gut when you start talking to people about whether you think they have the potential to have an epic business. Are there certain things that you look for? I'm just curious, how you size agents up, so to speak.
I do. If you actually talk to anybody inside our organization, we're going to tell you that we look for basically four things. Are you committed? And, we talk about are you interested or committed? Like committed people like Jennifer, what's on the back of your wall? Committed people do whatever it takes no matter what. And people who are interested in success, they talk about hustle, they talk about hard work. But the reality is I just say, show me your schedule. And I know exactly what you're committed to, like hanging out at Starbucks, going to lunch and having drinks, right? So committed is really important to me. And that doesn't mean to how I believe a real estate agent should be. It's what do you believe? Are you committed? Do you have a cause? Are you passionate? Second one is, are you coachable? And all that means is can you take advice, right? Can you when offered a solution or a better approach, are you a no or are you a yes? So that's really important for us. And then the third thing I look for is, do you have a business? I guess the best way to describe it, are you business oriented? Like what I know, sitting with a client that I was just with doing his offsite, he's operationalizing towards Michael doing $3 billion in sales, $75 million in GCI. He's a team, but when we talk about numbers and tracking and making decisions based upon data, he doesn't blow a gasket and say, I don't feel good about this. He's like, yeah, let's let the numbers do the numbers and let's figure out how we're going to solve the problems. And so he's business minded. And then the last one is pro growth. So, if you believe, as I believe right now, we've got at least 3 years ahead of us. If you study the data, minimum of 3% appreciation across the board in the US, no red states, nothing going down, everything getting better, not insanely better, just better. If you believe that the streets are paved with gold, you're my kind of client. But if you are waiting for doom and destruction, stay away. I don't need another energy sucking vampire.
I gotcha. So your agents aren't out there reading all the headlines being like, oh, the world's about to end. Agents are going out of business, yada, yada, yada. They're looking for opportunity.
Look, and I think we're all really clear. We need to pay attention. Like what's rule number one of being a leader is, the ability to look out in the future and say, anticipation, what adjustments do I need to make? So are we reading the headlines? Sure. But most of my clients are not spending a lot of time studying the news. We're paying attention to what's happening on the street, what's happening inside of our business with the leading and lagging indicators that help us predict what's going on. Our numbers of pendings up. I had a client say to me recently, hey, I'm kind of panicking. The number of price reductions is really enormous right now. And my response was, outstanding. Too many agents overprice properties. Look at the New York City marketplace. How many new buildings, how many properties are available? If those properties don't eventually get amended and reduced in price, we're never going to have the next big sales surge. So I try and, with 29 years of experience, not get wrapped up in the drama of the day, but instead help people just pay attention to what really matters. Did you make your calls? Are you doing your marketing? Are you booking appointments? Are you taking listings? Are showings up or showings down? And then make decisions.
Yeah. So really cool. Just a little takeaway I want you guys to pay attention to over here. One of the things that I love about Tom is Pay attention to the language that he uses, right? So, I've been in the business now for 14 years. And when I started in the business, we would talk about dropping the price, right? And then that doesn't sound good to say drop the price. And then, people are always like, I don't want to drop my price, right? And then it went down to adjusting the price, right? You adjust it. You don't bring it down. You can adjust up, adjust now. And now I hear Tom say, amend the price. Little words like that make a big difference. I think that's where a lot of the coaching really it plays a value into also is just kind of, listening to those things. I love reading educational books and listening to talks that you give and all this kind of stuff because I hear these words and smart agents out there, they take things in and smart agents, they copy good things. You give credit where credit's due, but copy, stamp your name on it. You can make it a little bit yours. You can put whatever color you want on it, but certain things work. That's what's so cool about it. You share things that work.
Yeah.
So what are some things, things that agents, the topic of this show are things that agents should be paying attention to right now. So number one, you're saying, the stats and the numbers are showing 3 years of steady positive growth.
Yes.
What are some things, and let's define who our agent population is right now watching the show. We have people all across the board watching the show, but we have a lot of people in the show. Either they're new to the real estate industry as an agent, or maybe they've been in the business for 2 years and they're doing a bunch of rentals in our marketplace. They're doing a bunch of sales. They're at that point where they're ready to skyrocket. They're ready to launch. They have the base. So those are the kind of people we're talking to. They know the lingo. What are some things that you might advise for them to pay attention to, keep their eye on?
Hey, Michael, if I could add on to that question from one of our commenters, I have a question here from Greg. How do you answer the question, should I work for a large firm or start my own brokerage?
Interesting.
Which one do you want me to do? I have opinions on both.
Okay. Let's first start off with, what is it? Large firm or what was the two questions? Large firm or start my own brokerage?
Should I work for a large firm or start my own brokerage?
I guess they're asking which they should do. That's kind of a hard
question. Answer that one. I can answer that really simple. Ready?
Okay, go for it.
So here's the deal. You're either an artist, you're an operator, or you're an entrepreneur. I guarantee, Michael, everyone watching this show is going to say, I'm an entrepreneur. And my response is, fantastic. How many businesses have you failed at? How many companies have you started? How many people have you hired? And usually what happens is everybody goes, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm like, okay, there's a big difference. I talk people out of starting brokerages every single day. And the obvious reason why today would I go use my capital, put myself at risk when I could essentially go build a beautiful team inside somebody else's brokerage? The great evolution today, or dare I say revolution, the last 10 years has been this massive surge of teams from 8, 10, 15 people to now as many as 120 people on a team inside of a brokerage, letting them deal with the minutia, leases, the toilet paper and all that BS, and instead doing what you do best, which is operationalizing listings and sales and service. So that's my answer.
Yeah, that's really cool. Tom, I was at your event, the Zillow event that you had over here, and you were kind of dissecting to that, and that was very, eye-opening, because it's a question a lot of people ask themselves all the time. I think also a lot of people don't really know exactly what's involved with opening a brokerage. That's very different than owning a team also. It's like a completely different kind of business model. And you have to decide what kind of business you want to own. They're both businesses, just different.
Yeah, well, I think at the end of the day, it's are you comfortable with all the upfront cash required? It's very easy to start a team. It's very expensive to start a brokerage. And, if you're in New York City, space and, TIs and getting everything ready to go, making sure you've got the proper infrastructure. I think if you're not comfortable saying, I'm going to write a check for $1 million up front, you're probably not going to start anything that's going to be, public. People aren't going to really know what's going on. It's easier today. And a lot of the smart money is all on teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff. So moving on now, next question is, things that agents should be paying attention to. So let me throw out a question over there because I saw you at the Zillow event, right? Hot topic today. Should I be buying leads? What should I do? And I get a lot of agents that I meet with, at my brokerage here in the city, at Meier Real Estate. Every agent kind of asks a question, should I go and invest in buying leads online? And I have some definite thoughts on that, but I'm curious, I know you're heavily involved in that game. Is it for everyone? How does somebody decide how they should grow their business? Curious as to your thoughts.
Well, look, so I'm old school. Peter Drucker is one of my mentors. All business is marketing and innovation. So the reality is, Michael, that most people, and Jennifer, we see this every day, most people cannot innovate at the speed of, say, a Zillow, a Realtor.com, a Boomtown, a Zerple, a Ding Ding, and all the other companies, right? So rather than trying to build that infrastructure yourself, we're essentially arbitraging with a few bones to get those leads from those companies and use their platform, use their technology. So for me, that's just a no-brainer. Maybe once you're, last week I saw you did a show with Ryan, right?
Yeah.
So when you're at his size, even though he's using all those platforms, eventually he might say, hey, I'm going to build my own CRM, or I can basically outproduce one of those solutions through Google pay-per-click or Facebook ads. But until you're there, until you actually say, I have a head of marketing who has someone that does marketing and automation, and then someone that also does digital and understands the difference between, digital pay to play to generate leads versus I got a bunch of likes on Instagram. Until you can build that, to me, it just makes sense to get in the way of where the eyeballs are for the consumers. The eyeballs are going, in New York City, I was just there last week doing a leadership conference and stayed with a buddy of mine who lives in 157. And I asked him, I said, how did you find this place? He's like, Street Easy, man. Street Easy is the best website on the planet. He knows me and we're dear friends for 18 years. And he knows that I'm a supporter of Zillow and Trulia and Realtor and Street Easy and all these companies. But he had no idea. He's like, oh, they're owned by Zillow? He had no clue, right? So the bottom line is go where the eyeballs are, right? That's what I believe. And if not those solutions, the single greatest ad spend today is still going to be on Facebook. And whether that is, saying curious about the value of your home, or our home prices going up or down, or, a picture of a home falling into oil, have oil prices impact home sales, all that kind of great sales and marketing stuff. If you're not doing that stuff today, you're just missing the boat. There's 1.6 billion people looking at this thing every single day. And if you're not there, you're not in the game.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Do you think that there are some agents that are better focused at converting internet leads, for example, versus other agents who might be better at cold calling or might be better at networking? Or are there, different agents that maybe are better off working, different lead sources?
I would say 1,000% no. That's a bunch of bullshit. The reality is it is untrained, unskilled, undisciplined. See, and anyone that, I don't know, can you say bullshit? I know I said it twice now.
So, we don't have any bleepers here. So
right,
we're good.
Yeah, beep, I'll beep myself. And I don't mean that to be confrontational. My 18-year-old son is out there on the phones right now, working in my office amongst my 80-person sales team. And, someone asked him, because, he really is, he's a math guy. He's a smart kid. And they're like, Tom, you basically have him banging on the phones. Why? And I'm like, it's pretty simple. If you're 18 years old and you can learn how to get on the phone, build rapport, qualify, make a presentation, handle objections, and book an appointment, my hallucination is those are life skills that will help him in dating, that'll help him in pitching his professor, maybe getting his next job or his first job. So I don't believe that there are, good or bad lead sources. I don't believe that agents' natural DNA, I like when they come to me and they're easy and they're referred. Well, no shit. Who doesn't want that? But we know all of the money today, when you study Real Trends, when you study Zillow's report they put out last October, Steve Murray's report from Real Trends, no one watching this believes that everything isn't online, that today we're being validated and being told yes or no based upon our profiles, our reviews, our videos, what they can read about us, the map of our transactions. Everything is online. So my thing is, you better have the right skills, whether it's a cold call, an open house, an internet lead. It all just comes down to knowing what to say.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. So we have, in our company here, we have agents that grow their business in different ways. We have people that are very into Zillow. We have people who literally like hit the phones and get listing after listing by hitting the yellow pages, kind of how I started my business before any of this, internet lead stuff came out. And the major thing that, and I'd love your insight into this, the major thing that we found that was most valuable is, and that there's a certain amount of leads that you're going to get right up the front. There's a certain number that are going to convert into business. And then, of course, the juice is in the long term, right? The juice is meeting people, building a database, and growing with them. And so we were telling people in our company for a long time, every month, create a video, send it out to your database, contact them, be in touch with them. And everyone said, great idea. We know we should do it, but what do we say? We don't want a video edit. It was like this whole headache, right? So we started this thing where every month we sit down with agents, like literally right here, I sit, I talk, and I interview agents. We do the editing for them. We do all this stuff for them. We then create a landing page, and then we Facebook target it to their database. We do all this stuff. And what we found is now the agents are all the leads that were just like sitting in a database without contact, without context, are now leads that have a relationship because they're constantly, being put in front of. The agents are now in front of their databases all the time. And so one of the things that I'd love to hear, kind of your input on is best practices, best ways for agents to stay in touch with their database, whether it be Zillow, cold call, door knocking in different marketplaces, whatever it may be. What are some great ways to stay in touch?
So I would take Zillow and door knocking, all that stuff out of that and just talk about just your database. Look, here's the reality, guys. We live in the review-based culture. People are making decisions online today. This is not my opinion. Look at the data, right? The data tells us people are shopping online. Amazon now has 50% of all shopping search, which is crazy. People are shopping online and they're making their decision based upon trust. This is all straight from Google. I went and spent some time with Google and they're like, it's trust. So how do we build trust? Michael, you just said it. I bring value, I create content, and I stay top of mind. I answer your questions in a prompt way. I don't come across like a knucklehead. And you know what? They go, gosh, that Jennifer gal, she's fantastic. Look, she sells houses. She does well. We should reach out to her. I know we all have 19 friends in real estate, but she's the most consistent. That's what you start hearing. Like, I trust her. She's consistent. She has a track record. She has people talking about her business. So what I tell people first and foremost is, if you don't have a Zillow or something profile, Google, I don't care. Map all of your transactions. If you're new, map all of your database so you can get a feel for where you're at. Like, who are all the people you know and where do they live? Take that map, especially of your transactions, and use that every quarter in your marketing where you're letting people know. Now, the numbers show that you'll get a 33% increase on clicks if you have a map versus the photo of a house. If you use some of Facebook's newer tools and that map actually scrolls and you could literally show all of Manhattan and all the transactions you've done, it is like real estate eye candy for people. They click all over it. It's beautiful. Map your transactions. Next, immediately, reach out to every single person inside your database and ask for a review. Whether you put it on Google or Zillow or on LinkedIn, I don't care. But we live in a world today, guys, where I'm making big decisions every single day based upon what other people are writing about the product or the service. I had to go to a doctor. I went online. I was referred by a friend. I still went online and I read all the reviews of this doctor and made my decision. That's the world we're in today. Map, over-index on reviews, and then I say follow the Tom plan. And I don't mean that egotistically. I mean stay top of mind. Stay top of mind. 2 emails every month.
You're destined for this, Tom, huh? I didn't know that.
I know, dude. I know. My wife is like, baby, that's a little egotistical. And I'm like, no, it's just stay top of mind, right? If my Thomas, it'd have to be something different.
I used to be like, sell higher with Meier. You got to go.
Oh, dude, I love that. I love that. So you ready? 2 emails every month, right? Obviously through some way that we can track who opened it, did they share it, etc. You want 2 mailers a month. I know that sounds old school, but listen, my friends, as direct mail dropped, direct mail results increased across the board. So there's no doubt a couple just listed, just sold, or market updates, or here's what's happening in the community is always good. Following everybody on Instagram, which is where all the eyeballs are. Don't ask me. Scott Shapiro, who's in charge of real estate advertising for Facebook, just did a couple trainings for a bunch of my top clients. And he basically said, like, look, I work for Facebook, be on Instagram. Like, that was his message to all my clients, including your advertising. You want to be doing one video a month where you go Facebook Live, kind of like we're doing right now, and you can talk about the market. You can do a 3-minute video and say, hey, it's Tom Ferry with Banana Real Estate, right here at the corner of Hama Hama and Nana Nana. In the last 30 days, here's what's happened in the marketplace. Home prices are this, number of listings are that, number of new sales is this, number of closings is that, the median sales price is ABC in each one of those. So clearly you can see we've got this happening in the market. My goodness, if you just did that once a month, guess what happens? You're like walking through the grocery store and all of a sudden someone's like, oh, is that Jennifer? I'm gonna get a photo with, oh my God, right? Like, you become a celebrity, and like it or not, that's a part of the game in real estate. You got to be well known. You want people to say, I want to work with that Jennifer gal. She's on it. So that's kind of the essence of the Tom plan, in my opinion. If you're not going to do that, so Michael, you ready for this? I can't say the name, and I won't say her ranking in the Wall Street Journal because then everyone would know and she'd be pissed. But she has been my coaching client for 19 years, and she's going to be 80 next February. 80. She does not call anybody in her database. So we have 2 of her team members now calling the database, and she's blown away because they are just booking appointment after appointment after appointment because they know what to say. So if you're not going to do it, you better get somebody else to do it, because let me give you a little fear to consider. There's a thing called the Burrell Report. The Burrell Report, you should all know what this is, because it's the only thing that basically takes and says, let's codify all the marketing spend that's happening in real estate. Last year, a little over $16 billion was spent trying to get your database to go to somebody else's website so they can sell that lead to somebody else. So if you don't call them, it's fine. Someone else will.
Yeah. Good tips. I want to give a case study here a little bit, because this is something that literally happened yesterday. So one of my agents in my office, he was, hitting the phones. Okay. He's a phone guy, and he's hitting the phones. And he calls somebody and, has are you looking to sell? Obviously scripted more than that, but are you looking to sell? And the person said, actually, yeah, I'm thinking about it. Why don't we talk? Right. And he went to go meet with them. Right. $1.6 million listing, went to go meet with them. He comes and meets with them, and he goes, oh, you're at Meier Real Estate. Yeah, I met with Michael Meier like over a year ago, right? Yeah, and we know your company. Yeah, we recognize you guys, and yada, yada, yada. Now, this agent, he's awesome. He's great. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he got the listing, right? Okay, great. So we're talking about it afterwards, and this was the big question. I met them like over a year ago, right? How much do they remember me from over a year ago? Maybe a little bit. Maybe they remember that we met. But the reason that they really remembered me was for the entire last year, I've been targeting them on Facebook. I've been sending them monthly videos. I've been doing all these different social media, tags that I'm familiar to them. I didn't even have to necessarily, I should have, honestly, I should have been calling them more. Definitely should have. But at least sending people and connecting with them in that way made it so much easier for the agent now to come in and they know who it is. So when people say to me also, like, what does social media do for you? I'm like, let's put aside the landing pages, the value your homes, all these different things to get leads. Your database will be churning and burning if you just stay in front of people. And it's also the right thing to do. It's kind of rude to like talk to people and then say, I'll talk to you next year. Kind of rude. So yeah, exactly what you're saying. It's a kind of a great, great thing.
I will tell you, after I watched your interview, just kind of getting prepped for this, and nice job, by the way, and thank you again for letting me share here.
Sure.
The video up was actually a Tom X talk, which is something we do at some of our events. And it was a guy named Kyle Whissel, who you would see on the Wall Street Journal Top 1000 list, longtime client. And he was talking about lead follow-up. And just that, Michael, he said, look, we can do Google retargeting, so every website they go to, they're going to be, on some shoe site, and there's going to be your ad. You can do that. You can do the email. You got to do it all. He said, but at the end of the day, he said, here's what we do. Everybody gets a phone call every 90 days until they buy or die. Everybody gets a phone call every 90 days until they buy or die. And he goes, there's nothing more exciting for me. His name is Kyle Whistle, great agent. He said, there's just nothing better than when someone on my team walks in and goes, hey, I just got a $1.1 million listing. And they track it back to a Boomtown lead from 2008 that they've been calling every 90 days since 2008. And Michael, I know your name. I know your company. You guys do great work. I see you on Facebook. I see your videos. But it was the call every 90 days. That's what got him.
Yeah. It's also funny because I used to be focused on production, right? I had an agent, big team, focused on production. Now I'm here trying to build a brokerage and build the agents up. And when I stopped actually going out there to solicit the business, I just started using social media a lot to educate real estate agents. The business started funneling in because now, before I was like, do I call people? Do I not? I like overthought it, right? And now I'm doing it because I like helping agents build a business and I'm trying to build a brokerage. And now all these leads are coming in because I'm talking to even people that are not looking to join a brokerage. They're just past clients and database people, and they just like the fact that they actually get to see me and so on and so forth. So it's just it's funny. The business grows sometimes when you just do the right things.
Yeah. Well, a local city guy, actually from Jersey, now in the city, Gary Vaynerchuk, in 2008, I think it was, I had him speak at our summit. And, this is way before all of his books. And he was just super rambunctious and cocky and fun and, F-bomb galore. But what was great is he said, if you just started a, real estate at 5 YouTube channel back in the day when we had to do, remember the flip video that opened up on the side and you had to plug it in and upload the video?
Yeah, I remember that.
And Michael, you're proof. Congratulations. You're building a part of your brand based on being an expert. And who declares your expertise? You, by putting out content. So you're doing exactly same reason I did the Tom Ferry show a million years ago. I'm super proud of you, man. Congrats.
Thank you. So Gary Vaynerchuk, before, when he was still big with his wine library, he used to have an apartment in the Upper East Side, and I cold called him. I didn't know who he was. It was just, a number in the yellow pages that I would hit and, just go. And his wife picked up and he just had a kid. And I remember showing up and I didn't know who he was at the time at all. I didn't do the research I should have done, maybe, back then. But I went there and his wife was showing me their terrace outside. And she's like, this is where we have wine. And I was like, wow, they must be really into wine. Next thing I know, it's oh, okay, there we go. That's who this is. Yeah. So we're getting close to the end of the show here, Tom. And I just wanted to say, is there anything, first of all, before the show ends, I would like to, I ask if you wouldn't mind sharing some of the events that you have coming up, opportunities for people to learn and grow from you. But is there anything else that you would recommend, to an agent that is, starting, that you just might say, these are the things that you should be doing before you're at that point, maybe where you're, have the ability or have the leads to start building a huge team? What are some things that they should just be doing every single day? Simple things we like to say in our company. I meet with agents every quarter. We make a business plan you could stick on a sticky. We just wanted that you can stick it all over the place and actually do it. What are some quick things that you put on the sticky?
So the first thing, first and foremost, is know your daily number. So take your number of transactions that you want to do, times it by 40 to 50. And I say it's going to be that range based on your skill set. So if you don't know your skill set, go with 50. And then reverse that into July to the end of the year. And all that means is, let's say I want to do 10 transactions. So pretty easy, 10 times 50. I know I've got to talk to 500 people. So now 500 people divided by this many days is going to get me this kind of result in terms of contacts, leads, appointments. As simple as that is, Michael, the vast majority of people in this business don't understand that business is math. And that, we like the emotional side. We love helping people, handing the person their keys, closing the deal, right? All the negotiation stuff. I get all that. The leading indicator, though, the obvious one is, how many people do you have to talk to make a sale? Doesn't matter. Are they at an open house? Are they at Starbucks? Are they a Zillow lead? Are they a cold call? Are they people inside your database? The general rule of thumb is 40 to 50 conversations to one sale. So that's my first thing. Second thing I would say is...
Can I just ask you, sorry to interrupt you, the 40 to 50 conversations, are those new people that you've never spoken to before, or your database of, friends, whatever, family, that kind of stuff?
So for a new person, I would say it's going to be all new. Right. And let's be clear, like my clients in Europe or New York City that, there's a segment of the market that is for sale by owner, which I refer to as fastest source of business opportunity. You and I both know the numbers are different. You talk to 10, 3 are going to let you come see the apartment. Of the 3, one of them is going to list. I just, side note, met with the founders of a company called Fizber, F-I-V or Z or whatever it is, BER.com, Fizbo site, 4,000 new Fizbos a month. And Michael, they're like, we want you to consult for us. I'm like, I'm not working with the devil. What are you guys talking about? Like, I don't want people to go for sale by owner. Why do you want to meet? And they said, here's the deal. We know that they come to us, they put bad photos up or no photos, a lousy price, they don't get a CMA, they just hallucinate the market's going to go, they're going to sell. And then they said to me, then on the 61st day, they call us and say, we're running out of time, we need help, we need a real estate agent. Now, they're everywhere. So those numbers, those opportunities, expired listings, your database for sale by owners, those are simply going to make it easier and lesser contacts. But I say start with 50, learn your own numbers. So in 2018, you can write your plan and say, like one of my teams, 17 conversations. Every 17 people they talk to, they make a sale. 18 people on the team, and it is remarkable. They know their numbers, right? They have great skills. So that's the first thing. Number 2 is if I was talking to somebody that was brand new, I would say you need to over-index on knowing what to say. At the end of the day, confidence creates sales. If you get stuck, if you start hemming and hawing, if you don't have the comeback, if you don't have the ability to shake their hand and build rapport and engage in a conversation, if that's not your style or you're more quiet and introverted, by the way, you picked a weird industry to get into, just for the record, I would say to you, work on your skills by practicing every single day. I've heard all these wonderful metaphors of, professional football players that would, kick the ball 300 times a day until in the moment of truth, when it really mattered, they had no problem. You with me on this? Kicking the ball, making the play. I'm not talking US football. I'm talking real football. So, knowing your daily number and acting on it, obviously knowing what to say, practicing that. And then number 3, never underestimate how important it is to know the product in your marketplace. I think that previewing property for so many people is a lost art. Michael, you've been in the business for 14 years. You know, this building is a co-op and this, you know the market so you can speak to it. And too many people are coming in and only looking at this for their information on what's going on in the business instead of getting onto the streets and seeing property. So those would be my 3. If I had a shameless self-promotion, I would say go to the Tom Ferry Show on YouTube and watch all my stuff on new agent training, because you're right, I do a lot there for free.
Yeah, everybody should do it.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. If I could just add in one more question from the viewer. Tom, how does an agent decide whether they are the type of leader who can create a team versus being a player on a team?
That's a really good question. There's a number like Myers-Briggs, DISC, AVA. There is, 10 or 11 of these personality profiles. I think most of them are shit, just to be honest, because I took one that was like a real estate test that said I should be a plumber. So, you got to take some of that stuff for a grain of salt. Look, at the end of the day,
well, Tom, you do know how to get the clogs out of people's production and just get them flowing.
Yeah, baby. I'm going to use that. I don't know how I'm going to clean it up, but I'm going to use it. Jennifer, what I would say is, rule number 1 is know thyself. I'm not in this for me. I have, almost 300 people strong inside our organization. We have thousands of clients around the world. Like, what makes my heart sing is watching, getting the email that I just got from one of my teammates who left my company after being here for 2 years, thanking me for how much he had grown and how much he had improved. And he's leaving my business. Like, he's moving on to someplace else. And I get a 2-page letter, emailed, sharing how grateful it is. Like, if you're not wired that way, then you should be on a team. If you're like, look, I just want to sell houses and have somebody else handle all that shit, be on a team. If you want to handle all the shit, then you should run a team. That's my simple answer. And you know in your gut which one you are.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And, I'll throw out there, this is, maybe a third, type of route or whatever it is. So in our company, at Meier Real Estate, we're a company that kind of works like a team. So we handle the marketing for our agents. We edit their videos. We sponsor it on Facebook. We handle a lot of the tedious marketing things that would cost you a ton of money. Jennifer's a rock star at getting our marketing and administrative stuff done. Like, she's just a wizard at this. So we provide all these things so an agent can go out there and not have to worry about kind of building it from scratch. We provide that. But at the same time, they can go out there and build a business for themselves. They still can partner. They still can build a team. But, it's that kind of in-between place between I'm going to a broker that doesn't give me anything and I need to build a team to do everything for me, versus, I'm just a salesperson that just needs to be in, that's just an individual on a team. So, just another thing, if you're fortunate enough to be in New York City.
Michael, I agree with you 100%. We have clients. That's really, you just described the entire European real estate market done right. It's brokerages built as teams. And what we're seeing now is the evolution across, the North American. I would actually put Mexico up through Canada, is that the great brokerages are saying, our job is to be the service center. Our job is to let salespeople go meet with clients and do what they do best. And then they operationalize and institutionalize marketing, service, transaction support, whether it's at a cost or not. So, big shout out to you, buddy.
Thank you.
Can I give one more thought before we got to bounce? Because there's just something that is on my mind.
Please.
So it's the month of June, right? Yesterday was my wife's birthday. So today is the 27th.
Yesterday is your wife's birthday?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yesterday is my wife's birthday.
We both married extraordinarily well, my friend.
That's awesome.
Love it. So, in the last probably 2 weeks, a lot of the conversations I'm having with everybody right now is, it's time for your mid-year offsite. It's time for you to sit back and say, I need a half day or a day or two, depending upon the size of your company, to basically decide what you want to have happen between now and the end of 2017, right? Get really clear on your forecast. But then as the CEO, right, whether it's the CEO of one or the CEO of many, you have to declare, where do you want your business to be in 2020? If the streets are paved with gold for the next 3 years, what's the vision that we're working into? So you establish a number, this is where we want to be, and then you back it into how much people, production, systems, automation, process, new roles, new responsibilities, what do we want it to look like in 2020? And then 1918, and what that does is it sets the charge for you today to begin building your business through repeatable and scalable methodologies that are going to drive you from 17 today to 2020. And I have to tell you, I just was on a Facebook session like this private with about 130 of our top teams from mostly the US and a few Canadians. And, these men and women, Michael, are average GCI is, 2.5 million. And, they're doing phenomenal, running great businesses. Every one of them said the same thing. It's just so easy to get, lost in the minutia of a good market like this. We've got to be thinking forward. Where am I driving my business? What do I want to accomplish? And then who are the people? What are the processes? What do I need to put in place? Whether it's you as a CEO, myself as a CEO, or an agent running their team, what do I think it's going to look like? I mean, the next 3 years, if you think technology has been disruptive in real estate, just wait for the next 3 years. Just wait for, self-driving cars and how that's going to impact the world. We're already seeing the impact of AI that is now converting and booking appointments with clients and no salesperson's even involved in the lead follow-up. We know that everything is going to make it faster, better, more efficient. And I think we all agree real estate agents aren't going anywhere. So if you're not thinking about how I'm going to 3X or 4X or 5X my business as the world continues to evolve and get better, innovate or die, if you're not thinking that, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get lost in the shuffle. And that would just be a shame. So that would be my advice. Book an offsite and start planning out 2020 and, finish your forecast for this year and then write your plan and get to work.
Fantastic. Can you tell us about some of the events you have coming up so that people can, sign up, go, participate?
Yeah, awesome. So, we'll do 130 seminars around the world this year. So there's a lot of options, 1 days, half days, multi-days. The two that I get to do that are for, the public, one is our summit, which is in Las Vegas. This will be the 14th year we've done it. 6,000-7,000 agents from around the world fly in, smart people looking to idea share, network, brainstorm. So super fun. They can check that out on my website, tomferry.com. For all my city peeps, for all my like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Boston, Maine, New Hampshire, Philly, at the end of the year, I'm going to do a couple-day event called By Design. And, maybe this is your chance to sit in a room for a couple days, write out all your goals for 2018, 2019, and 2020. And then I'm going to show you 5 different models for building a team, including all the systems and the process and the job descriptions. So whether you choose to do it alone or choose to do it with a team, basically we answer all the questions. And then we work on your time and your money, your marketing, your skills, and your follow-up. All of that in an event called By Design, which I think is going to be in Brooklyn, right? It's going to be in Brooklyn. So it's going to be fun in November. So those would be 2 options. I'm sure my team would give you guys like a promo code or something. If you guys want to do something with that, that would be awesome. And for all my friends out there, we'd love to see you. Those are the 2 events that I get to do versus my private work.
Fantastic. So for anybody that is, interested in going to the events, which many of you guys should be interested in going to the events, we're going to be sharing with you a promo code with you. So please, if you're interested in learning about the events, send me a message, write in the comments below so that we know we can reach out to you and share that code with you. It'll be a phenomenal way for you guys to go and begin and learn and grow and, get experience to coaching and, build a business by design. So all really, really fantastic things. Tom, thank you so much for joining us on the show, sharing your wisdom, helping agents grow, helping people get out of their box a little bit and see what they need to do. Love your thoughts on thinking 3 years forward. Love this, specific details on how many contacts you need to make in order to get deals done and working backwards. These are all principles, guys. Watch this show over a couple of times and write down notes on the principles he's sharing and the details that he's sharing, because hearing it isn't going to do anything for you. Doing it is going to do something for you. So go ahead and do it. If any of you guys have any further questions, once again, write in the comments below. If you'd like to reach out to me, of course, Michael Meier, Meier Real Estate, just reach out to me at Michael Meier, NYC, on any platform or .com, and be happy to, happy to answer any of your questions as well. Jennifer, once again, thank you so much for, helping us host this, and
of course,
always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And Tom, we'll see you later. Thank you so much.
All right, buddy. Thank you guys. Jennifer, you're the best. Michael, thank you for allowing me to share and contribute. Be well. See you soon.
See you soon.